yet, but we're not giving up. And in this new position, I'm having to learn how I can navigate around that, because it's a different world where I am now. Because I got 26 mental health authorities around the state that I have to interface with. But we're going to get there, and I want to set this up to be a model for the state. So the other big piece is data collection. As you know, you're not going to get any money and you're not going to get any traction if you don't have data. And I have a lot of numbers that I can share with y'all if you're interested in that. The other thing I wanted to speak to you about, and you've got a handout about it, is about the opioid crisis. And y'all, this is a major problem in our country. Major. Not just, you've seen the stuff in Ohio, you've seen the stuff in Indiana. Walker County in Alabama is one of the top 10 in the country. Now, this is not just poor people, homeless people lying down in the gutter. This is white, middle class, upper class folks that are addicted to opioids, and often through a prescription that was written for them. Teenagers, wisdom teeth, sports injuries, huge gateway to opioid addiction, leads to heroin. If you have a chance, did any of you see 60 Minutes Sunday night? Did you see the heroin? Go online and to 60 Minutes this past Sunday night. They had a fabulous show, and they interviewed parents. They interviewed a beautiful girl who talks about her heroin addiction. This is a real problem that we have got to get on top of, and that falls under prevention. But let's talk about mental illness and severe emotional order prevention for just a minute. Schizophrenia, bipolar disease, and depression, as I said a minute ago, these are real diseases of the brain. Schizophrenia, in particular, will manifest in the late teens, early 20s. You think about kids that have gone to college, some that you know that this manifested in. They came from wonderful, supportive homes. Right now, unless I'm wrong, Dr. Katz, I don't think that medical science knows how to prevent that kind of schizophrenia or that level of bipolar disease and depression. But there are a lot of things we can prevent. And you think about severe emotional disorders. Barbara Thompson knows about those in kids. These are kids who live in violent settings, who witness violence, who are victims of violence, and they come to school and they act out, and this behavior is escalated. And you end up with a child out here in DYS with Steve Lafreniere, okay? Whole nother department. I'm on the Juvenile Justice Task Force too, in my spare time. So, there's a lot that can be done, and this backs up to the prenatal, okay? And I brought some folders up here on this Smart Start thing that Gail Pygott heads up, the Partnership for Children for Alabama. And everybody in here wants to know something they can do, and I'm going to tell you what you can do. And this is what I will never forget. John Wilson, who was former chief of police, was in my leadership class. Mike, he was in class 3. He had just been appointed chief, you remember?
I do.
Yeah, he wore a white linen suit. He thought he was that guy on TV. It was fun. I remember. Whatever that TV show, that police show was, y'all remember back in the 80s, late 80s. Anyway.
Yeah.
What?
Miami Vice.
Miami Vice. That was, yeah, he was the Miami Vice dude. Okay. So, we had a vision. We had one of our first 5 task forces that we were rolling out was crime, drugs, and public safety. So Charlie Colvin, head of the United Way, and I went and met with John. And we said, John, We want to roll out crime, drugs, and public safety, and you're the police chief, and we just feel like we need to do this in partnership with you, and what do you think? And he said, Lynn, I can tell you how to prevent crime. I said, well, would you please? He said, provide prenatal care. You think about that. I'm like, how many chiefs of police in the country understand that crime prevention must begin at birth, before birth? The settings that we are born into, we have no control over, but they completely control us and determine our destinies about, 95% of the time. There are kids who can rise above it and overcome it, but they've got to have a support system in the community. And if it's not in the home, the community better provide it. It's in our best interest. It is in our best interest to make sure that every child that's born has everything they need to succeed in life. So that's what you can do. Demand that your schools are excellent. Don't settle if they aren't. Join the PTA. Find out what you can do to support parents and families. Insist that everybody have access to health care. I saw in the paper this week, I was excited because one of the things that I've done in my past life was start the Alabama campaign to prevent teen pregnancy. We worked with Dr. Tom Miller and Martha Jenwright and Mark LaBranch. That was fun times. That was the late 90s. And the Montgomery campaign. This week in the paper it said Alabama's teen pregnancy rate is at an all-time low. Well, let's see, that only took 18 years. That's a generation. But here's what I can tell you. 2/3 of the people, this is old data, it might be different now, but at the time, 2/3 of the people in jail, in prison, were born to a teen mother. The economic impact of teen pregnancy is huge. The social impact, you think about it, being born to a person that's unprepared, unequipped to take care of their child. The best predictor of the health of a mother is the health of a child. Okay? So prevention in that way is really important to me. And I know that this is a different tune than what mental health commissioners talk about.